Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things. Today, you are going to meet with Saikat Chakrabarty, Director, Engineering for Mihup. And he also is a huge expert and continues to stay relevant in the AI, ML, and computer vision enthusiast. In this conversation, Saikat talks about extremely being committed to your learning journey. Listen a snippet of his thought.
So I would say that software is a very dynamic field. So, it is difficult to keep up pace with in our field, right? So it changes within span of months, not even years. So today, whatever technology you are using, a few months down the line, it could be obsolete.
You will hear his journey from being telecom engineer. He's become a cloud engineer and now an AI/ML, and he's being part of the startup, which is building regionalization, vernacular, as well as contact center databases. And it's amazing to hear his commitment to learning and always not choosing the easy path. Listen on.
Hi, Saikat. Welcome to
Hi,
Software
Gayatri.
Stories. Thank you for coming here. And I know that you are one of the CTOs or directors in MyHub. And I am very interested to hear about the whole realm of conversational AI as well as the prompt engineering and how you got into it. So for our listeners, can you introduce yourself and your...
Sure. So Gayatri, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I truly appreciate this opportunity. So thank you so much. Coming back to work, so currently I am leading the tech team at Mihup. So I'm the director of engineering at Mihup, to be precise about my role. I started off my career more than a decade back after completing my master's in computer science and engineering. And fortunately, I would say at every point in my career, I have got the scope to work on the latest things that was happening in the tech world at that point of time. Like say, when I started, there was this 4G wave that had begun in the telecom sector, and I used to work on creating this 4G network backbone. So I used to work on creating the nodes and components that actually make up a 4G network. And from there came a boom of cloud technologies, AWS, Azure, all were coming in. And then I gradually transitioned to cloud technologies, building microservices, learned how to scale them on cloud platforms and so on. And now that I'm at Mihup, which works on this very cool kind of technology of conversational AI. So, AI is something which is going to be, and in fact, it already is an integral part of our day-to-day lives. So at Mihup, I am grateful to work with a group of visionaries who are leveraging AI to bridge this gap between man and machine. So our products for the contact center and the automotive sectors are actually executing this larger vision. And currently we are building this technology to kind of provide real-time assistance to contact center executives, and also facilitate 100% interaction analysis to derive actionable insights. So so we provide a host of things. So I've been working on those things. So that's about me in a nutshell.
Wow. So you've used so many jargons now. So interaction, prompt, as well as conversational, as well as,
Right.
let's start with things which everybody is aware, right? I know 5G is now common, and we are also using and able to make advantage of 5G components and everything.
Yes.
So
Yes.
start from there and say, what got you started even before that, maybe? in software. What was the initial reactions of using software? I know we're all, at least your generation is software born. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what got you excited about software? I think that will really be great.
Right. Right. So we were from a generation where we saw Windows 98, right? At that point of time, so it was something over the top, and we used floppy disks, which were 1.44 MB at that point of time. From there, we saw the journey. We went to CDs, DVDs, and we had games like Mario, and now we play something like, say, Counter Strike, which is GPU, which is having GPUs used in it, and a host of stuff. So this transition, this evolution of the software industry, I would say, during my college days, that got me fascinated, and I was always excited to work on something like this. So luckily, just when I passed out, I got offers from a company where I got the scope to work on this 4G at that point of time. So that got me started, and I never lost the interest from thereafter. So that fueled my rest of the, I would say, 10, 12, 15 years after that.
So when you say you were in building component in 4G and 5G, are you talking about the over-the-top applications, or is it inside the LTE or the long
Inside.
range aspects of it?
Yes, inside the LTE. So there are multiple nodes actually which build up this entire LTE network. So I used to work on that. So from there we transitioned. So I transitioned to cloud. From there now to AI, where at Mihup I am working on this interaction analysis part, where we analyze calls between the man, between a contact center executive and a person. So which goes on in an automated fashion. So that's the whole journey that I've gone through.
Sorry, I know you have to explain what conversational and what do you mean by man and machine? So I know
Right.
when we talk about earlier, when we used to have IVR, we used to be able to press one, two, whatever, and then we used to be able to.
Yes.
It used to get directed to the appropriate agent, where they will
Right.
have our information to that extent. I think at that point in time we used to call the CRM. So to that extent they will be able to say hi, Saikat, and then they will have all the information at the history level, right? But
Right.
how are we? How is that aspect transitioned using AI as an engine?
Right. So previously and even nowadays, the only medium, so one of the mediums of talking to a machine is like either you type some commands or you click on something, then it gets initialized and then it works on its own. But going forward and even today, so we are using modes where we can talk to the machine, right? So we can talk to a machine like we do with a human being. We can speak out commands, and we have someone else, like some machine, which is responding back to that. So that is becoming a reality, and that is going to be the norm, say 2 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line. So there comes the importance of conversational AI. So somebody has to analyze these conversations and then get back with the correct response to it. Somebody has to, so the machine has to understand what a human being wants to say and then get back with the correct response. So that is what we refer to conversational AI. So in our case, what we do, suppose in contact centers, they take a huge amount of calls every day. A few hundreds of hours of calls are taken every day, and it is not possible for somebody to listen to those calls manually and check if something went wrong in that call, if the customer was not happy in that call. So we analyze those calls and we come up with meaningful insights, like what happened in that call. So how could have the customer experience been improved? So we come up with those kinds of insights. So that is what we do at the contact center end, and we also provide real time prompts to our agents so that they can make their conversation better with the customer. So that is one. We are also into the virtual agent part, where we actually so we sit at the car dashboard, and nowadays the high end cars are having features like voice commands, right? So the driver can say some command like, say, turn on the AC. So machine has to understand that first, then take an action. So that is what we refer to conversational AI.
This is in addition to the chatbot that you're talking about, right? Chatbot, are we saying that chatbot is the conversational AI? Because there is a lot of confusion in the market in terms of conversational AI, prompt engineering, as well as the generative AI.
Yes.
Where is
So
the segment starting and where is it ending?
right. So they have some amount of overlap between each one of them, but the prompt engineering is something where so as a person who is interacting with generative AI, you create some prompts, you give the machine some prompts which helps it in a way to generate a response. So how good you are in providing those prompts, that is prompt engineering. So when you talk about generative AI, it could be a host of things. So it could generate some response for you like it does in ChatGPT. It could generate some images, like there are some uh, other models of AI which could generate an image, which could generate some kinds of sound. So everything which generates a response based on the user's query is kind of a generative AI. So that's the difference between those two. And conversational AI is more like, so when somebody is speaking to a machine, so how does the machine understand what the human being is wanting to say? So that's what is conversational AI.
I also, one of the things that I really liked from your offering, Mihup's offering, was ability to have regionalization or vernacular language support.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
mean, it sounds very simple, right? But that is something that I found very interesting to bring that
Yes.
sort of a language support. I mean, how much are we able to say? Yeah, while everybody talks in English, but if we have to reach to our every person in the 1.4 billion people in India, having that
Yes.
language support, I thought was very fascinating. So talk to me
Absolutely.
about the background of the
Mm.
technology that made it happen.
Yes, so there's a lot of technology that has gone in to create this kind of support. So when people speak, typically it is not only in pure English that they speak. They use a mix of, say, Hindi and English. They use a mix of vernacular language and English. So there are tools which work very well on English. There are tools which work well on particular vernacular language, but we have put in a lot of effort, a lot of technology, a lot of mindful things that have gone into this AI platform, which enables us to to kind of give a higher amount of accuracy, to give a whole kind of new level of accuracy to this mixture of vernacular language and English. So we have done a lot of data analysis. We have done a lot of optimizations, a lot of new things in the AI front, which can identify such, I would say, casual tone of conversation where a person is speaking in a mixture of vernacular language and English or any other language. I would say two languages in it.
Is it, do you have use open source for making this happen, or how, I mean, first, I think if you can talk through the product evolution, that will be really great.
Right.
Because that way, when being a startup, right, you will have an inside view of the inception on why it started and how it is evolved also. You can share those experiments and your stories there. I think that will be really great, Saikat.
Right. So I would say there is a bit of things that is open source, but it's not entirely open source, because in open source you won't be able to come out with all the kind of customizations that we need to support all these things. So so we have patents for that, which we have filed, and that is pending. So I can't speak a lot about the technology right now, but I would say that yes, we use a part of open source. We do some customizations on it. We build our own architecture, our own things on top of it. We train it with some data which we have prepared over the years of experimentation and with evolution. That data we have prepared, that also helps in building the product that is in a situation right now. So that's how we have built this engine, which is able to understand this conversation between between the man and the machine in any vernacular language that we support right now.
Nice, nice, nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that, Saikat. So, let me take a step back and see, and can you share your journey on actually how did you learn yourself? The whole, when you moved from cloud-based technologies to this sort of uh,
Right.
technology, how did you learn? What was your journey like?
Right. So I had one philosophy always, I I chose places where I had scope to learn. So when, as I said, when I first started, I was working on 4G. Then I moved to cloud, and then I moved to AI. So it's so unless you challenge yourself, unless you give yourself a tough challenge to compete with, you won't bring out the best out of you. So that's how actually I would say I learned AI. So specifically, if I say so, there is no shortcut. So you have to dedicate time. I have gone through a lot of blogs and researches, and that way you get to learn things. But learning is not the end of it, because you have to do hands on as well. So unless you get a scope to do that, you won't be able to apply your learnings. So that's why it is important you work in a place which gives you the scope to work on that. So you learn something on your own, and then you get to apply it. You get the responsibility, you get the freedom to kind of experiment. So then only you can learn, and I learned in the same way. So I read something, I got the opportunity to experiment on it, and that's how it went on. And now so this transition has happened in that way.
Lovely, lovely. I hope our listeners are taking notes on it, because what happens is technology is, I mean, so rapidly changing.
Right.
If you remember, folks who were in working in the mainframe world of it, they said, "Oh, now I have to learn a new technology called open source and Java or whatever that is." Right? That was one phase of it. And if we had passed that chasm, learning a new way of setting up an environment, it's no longer somebody else will do. You have to do it yourself, and doing a cloud and everything, right? And then now
Right.
ability to train machines and
Right.
understand the by ins and outs of systems. I think that is unless we apply ourselves and really take that beginner's mindset, that is going to be hard. So
Right.
have
Right.
you helped somebody else also go through this journey, Saikat? And how has that been in terms of mentoring?
Right. So I would say, so you don't choose an easy path. So choose the one that would challenge you. These challenges will actually bring the best out of you automatically. So don't take a shortcut. So, early in your career, your entire focus has to be on learning, because that knowledge will propel that knowledge would fuel the rest of the 20-25 years of your career. So early in your career, join a place where you feel you would be able to learn a lot. Just don't go by big names, so that you can brag about with your friends and family. So every professional needs something to succeed in his field. Like let's if I talk about a wrestler, so he would need muscle strength and technique to kind of excel in his field. So in our field, it is all about the technology that you get to learn. So you gather more knowledge day in and day out, and that's how you would sustain yourself, you would excel yourself in the rest of the career. So I would say, don't take any shortcut. Just choose a place where you always have some opportunity to learn. So that's how you prepare yourself. That's the only way, I think.
Not taking shortcuts and taking people along in that learning journey. I think
Yes.
that is very key in terms of taking it, because we've always been good at group learning, right? As a society,
Right.
we actually learn better. That's why we have classes which have more than so many people, and by and large, if you know somebody else has learned, and along with that, I think that's going to it gets that much easier. Uh, so, what next, Saikat? I think for you as a person, right? What do you look forward to? Uh, I,
So nothing much. So so I am always keen to learn what is coming up in our field. So so uh, so I would say so learning is my mantra for success. So I would continue to follow that. So wherever we see there is some scope, so we dig into that and try to experiment, like whether there is some scope of work on it, whether how can we build it to build some new use cases. So that's how we maintain it at our end. So that's how I would say I would like to continue for the coming years as well.
so, when you look at a time turner, right? We always when you talked about floppy disk and how this is, evolved. Um, how will you look at it, let's say 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line? um, how do you think it's going to evolve? There is lots of conversations around no code as a possibility.
Yes, yes,
There is a there
yes,
is also this thing around creating a separate network, blockchain powered network that is
yes,
there.
yes,
So lots of such trends are going on. How, which
yes.
mega trend do you think is going to really power ourselves as we step into the next 10-15 years?
So I would see. So if I have an opportunity to glimpse into the next 15 years, I would say I think it would be a mix of AI and medical science that is going to take it to the next level. So we are. So there is one big challenge which we have not yet overcome. So that is uh, learning how our brain works. So there is a lot of biotechnology, there is a lot of medical science, and I would say combination of medical science and computer science based researches that are going on, how we can reverse aging, how we can deal with the complex medical problems that we don't have a solution yet. I think AI, AR, VR, and those things are, and plus medical science is going to be on the next level in the coming 10-15 years. So that's my personal feel about it. But so there is a lot of research that is going on in that field, and I find it truly amazing.
So meta is where the
Yeah.
whole world is moving towards. That's your bet?
Yes, yes, truly. So I hope we are able to come up with something which helps alleviate our problems that we face today. So be it from reachability to the remotest part of the world, medical reachability to the remotest part of the world, to the complex medical diseases which we are not aware of even how it happens. So I think software, AI, uh, so these can breach those gaps that we have right now.
Very nicely put. So, can you share some stories where, in the recent time, you could not believe that AI was very helpful for you to take a call or take a you or your somebody whom you know had used it for your real life application?
Uh, yes. So, AI is good. Till now, AI is good on what it has previously seen. There is this gap which is there in AI when it comes to that level of human intelligence which a human can understand but AI cannot. So that gap is always there. So when you're communicating with any team member, so somebody is sitting in front of you, you want to gauge actually how he's thinking. A human would be able to somehow predict like what he's thinking, what are the responses he's going to give next. But that is still not the case with AI. So I think even today, and it is going to take us some good number of more years on that kind of research, where we would be able to truly understand human interaction, how would it go. So that is still a gap that we see in AI.
True. I think that how much ever the body language part of it and the not so subtle messages, that is going to be hard for AI to pick up. But um,
Sarcasm. is there. So sarcasm is one of the most difficult things which is a challenge for AI right now. So how would you, so you have said something, okay, you have said something and the other person says it's good, but you don't know whether, so a human knows whether it was sarcasm or whether it was truly a appreciation, but AI won't right now.
Yeah. Cool. So tell me one of the things that you would like to the listeners to practice in their daily life. Any advice that you want to share, Saikat?
So I would say that software is a very dynamic field. So it is difficult to keep up pace with in our field, right? So it changes within span of months, not even years. So today, whatever technology you are using, a few months down the line, it could be obsolete. So either you keep yourself updated or you risk going obsolete. So that's why you need to learn, you need to keep yourself updated. So there's no alternative to it. You need to spend some amount of time every day to learn something new. So you attend seminars on varied topics, you read blogs, you go through YouTube channels that talk about the future technologies. So that's how you keep yourself updated on what are the things that are coming up next. And unless you learn, you are at least at par with what is going on, you would never learn that. So you need to keep your eyes open, you need to dedicate time each day on what is going on in our world. So that's how so that would be my advice to anyone who belongs to our industry.
Thank you. And I think that makes sense, right? In terms of the rapidity in which changes. But if you keep yourself updated little by little on a daily basis, the change will not look very huge. It will
Right.
look as if it's attainable. So it's not like
Right.
if you have to learn from a React JS to an Angular JS, or even an Angular JS to a unit test on Angular JS, it may not be hard. But if you want to completely learn something brand new, and that becomes a lot more harder. So
Right.
I talking of learning, right? Just one, I don't know if this is a question that is comfortable for you to answer. Is uh, while software in India has been primarily in Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad, and some of these key locations, I observed that you are based out of Calcutta. And
Yeah.
how is the software scene in Calcutta, and how do you find it different in Calcutta?
So it's I would say there's no dearth of talent in here. So there are good colleges, good schools, and people are so you have a lot of good talent over here. So opportunity wise, we so it is not at the same at in the same league with Bangalore right now. But it is a bit different over here in terms of how the opportunities are, but it is almost the same in terms of good talent. So that is how the scene is in Kolkata right now. And it is true with the same it is true for other tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities in India as well, because many companies are looking to kind of capture this talent pool that is there in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and even in tier 1 cities, but which are not at par with Bangalore, Chennai, or Gurgaon in terms of software industry. But there is a lot of good talent which is available there, and people are looking to capture that.
Thank you for sharing that, Saikat. In fact, my view is given the historically the best of the brains are in the are from the Bengal side of it. So it suits naturally to have that erudite view into software. So I'm sure it's the future where software is going to really deep root into not just Kolkata, but also the tier 2, tier 3 cities also.
Yes, yes.
So thank you so much for your time, and I really, really appreciate it, Saikat. I love talking about your own journey in terms of learning from telecom to AI, ML models. for tomorrow's problem solving through AI, and also your own journey. I loved it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.